If you are on the gloomy line, get a transfer. If you're inclined to fret and pine, get a transfer. Get off the track of doubt and gloom. Get on the sunshine track. There's room. Get a transfer. If you're on the worry train, get a transfer. You must not stay there and complain. Get a transfer. The cheerful cars are passing through and there's lots of room for you. Get a transfer. If you're on the grouchy track, get a transfer. Just take a happy special back. Get a transfer. Jump on the train, pull the rope that lands you at the station Hope. Get a transfer. And that cute little poem is in Lottie Beth Hobbs' books called Choosing Life's Best.
I have heard that before.
Yeah, another one of my favorites by
Mhm.
her. There's no author that it's attributed to, but that one makes me smile. And
Mhm.
we're going to have a more of a lighthearted episode today, and I thought it was appropriate. I'm Kathy Pollard. With me is Carla Moore. We're your hosts of Looking Up. This is a podcast for Christian women from Colossians 3, verses 1 and 2, reminding us to keep looking up and set our mind on things above. And today we are going to be sharing our favorite crockpot meals. It is October. Happy fall, everybody. I love this season. I'm sure everybody does. I got an email from Shay Elliott. Not me personally, but you know.
I was going to ask you. Wow, that's pretty cool.
We're like this.
Buddies.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in her most recent email, she said that who doesn't love October? And she said something along the lines of, in a world of division, at least that's something we can all agree on. Everybody loves October.
I don't know. October is always when my boys used to get a stomach virus.
Really?
Yes, every October it seemed like.
Oh.
And so I kind of tend to look at October with jaded eyes, like, what are you bringing? I love the cool. Well, it's not cool here. It's still hot'em.
Oh, autumn.
But I look forward to it coming
I'm sorry.
soon.
It's here. It's that perfect blend of comfortable in the daytime, but chilly, a little chilly in the morning and evening. So all the autumn feels are going on. And, everybody's throwing out those cute little quotes about my favorite color is October. Or I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers, just, wow. It's such a short season. You just have to make the most of it. So.
Yeah. Yeah,
Your
I do love
picture
the
behind
idea.
you looks very October-ish.
Well, it
with
is.
all those fall colors.
That's Bear Lake up at Rocky Mountain National Park. That's where Mike and Courtney got engaged, but that's one of Jordan's pictures. But he did take it probably in September, so it would have been October, probably.
It's beautiful. Well, what's new with you?
Well, I do love October as long as there's no stomach viruses involved. And hopefully, now that my boys have left home, now we have grandchildren that infect us with things sometimes. They're worth it. It's a good thing I love them.
That's right.
Let's see. We just actually got back from Katy. We went there for the day on Saturday because some of the people that went with us on the Greece trip back in June were coming because Alan Webster was holding gospel meeting at the Katy congregation. So several of the women from Corsicana came down and we went up, and Alan and Lois were there, and Austin was there. So we went for the morning for the gospel meeting, and then we went to Jackson's baseball game, and it was family day at the ballpark. And I mean, there was, I don't know how many bouncy houses and inflatables and funnel cakes and face painting and those little cheesy games, where you pick a duck out of the little swimming pool and turn it over and you win something, or you shoot the army men down, just that kind of thing. So it was a fun day, and yeah, we enjoyed being there just for the day. And so that's what we did this weekend. Got there, went really early and got back really late. So but it was good. That happened this weekend. What did you do this weekend?
Well, Neil and I, he had just gotten back late Monday night from Colorado, and so we had decided together that we would try not to plan anything on the weekend since it was kind of a lighter weekend, and just focus on getting caught up on all those outdoor projects that we are so far behind in. And of course, it rained all weekend and all weekend. So we ended up running some errands, and we have a list of, inside things that need taken care of too, and things for the new business and stuff like that. So But Saturday night we had a fish fry with our church family, which got moved indoors,
Hmm.
but it was still fun
What
and
kind of
played games.
fish?
I don't even know what kind of fish they fried,
Cat.
but it was
Y'all have
delicious.
catfish, right?
I
In that
don't
area?
I don't think it was catfish though, but I don't know. I
No.
didn't even ask. But it was delicious. And we've had just sort of churchy opportunities ever since the last time we talked, area wide visiting an area wide gospel meeting, getting together with some people and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yep.
it's been a good week. But
Good.
yep. And
All right.
today the sun is shining and it's beautiful, and my heart goes out to all the people who are
Oh, yeah.
really suffering and struggling from the fallout of the hurricane. And I look out at my own yard and I see beautiful trees and the autumn colors and the sunshine, and so many people are looking out and seeing devastation and loss,
Hmm.
and don't have power or water that's safe to drink. They might have running water, but it's not safe to drink, or it's just
Yeah.
heart and prayers go out to all of
Yeah. It
them.
was almost unbelievable how that happened because, so
Mm-hmm.
far what I think of inland, and
Mm-hmm.
yet it just seemed to gather speed and
Mm-hmm.
moisture and just really dumped on them. So yeah, that is heartbreaking. Very
Mm-hmm.
sorry about all that.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had rain in, I think they said like 65 days, something like that, but that's pretty typical for this part of the world and this time of the year. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, we're just full of good news and fun news today, aren't we?
Well, yesterday I spent the day with my sister,
Hmm.
and I always have fun things to talk about after I spend the day with her. And it's kind of funny because she told me before I went over there, I haven't seen her in 6 weeks.
Hmm.
So it's not like we get together all the time. But she told me, don't bring anything with you, and I don't really have any plans. And she always does, like we do fun things together. She's got like everything lined up. We're going to do this, this, this. But she said, I don't really have any plans. And I was like, great. I'm just going to come
Hmm.
meet your new puppy and we'll hang out. And I thought it sounded fantastic. So I get there and she has the most delicious meal. It was a Italian soup,
Hmm.
the kind that you use the Parmesan rind
Hmm.
in while it's
Hmm.
simmering. And she made a homemade focaccia,
Oh, yum.
but not just any focaccia.
Mm.
When I took a bite out of it, there was melty cheese in the middle of it. So it
Wow.
was one of those foods where this is going to make me sound weird, I know, but when you take a bite of it, you get goosebumps up and down your arms because it's so delicious.
I don't know if
And
that's
it's
ever
a
happened to
perfect
me.
meal because yesterday was, a little overcast, and she was
Hmm.
like, come in your sweats and we're not going to wear makeup. And
Oh man, that's a heavenly day.
it was great. We did that. Her puppy is adorable. I'll have to
Hmm.
share a picture in the group or ask her to. But he looks like a ball of white and black yarn that just pops around on the carpet. Has these cute little paws and a big puppy belly. Oh,
What kind of dog is he?
he is a Cavapoo, King Cavalier Spaniel Poodle
Poodle.
mix.
But
Cavapoo.
he's
And
small. He's gonna stay small.
oh yeah, he is really small. And he's going to stay small. But he's adorable. And well, anyway, so she's saying like, don't bring anything. Well, then she's given me lots of things, like she just collects things or whatever. And one of
Hmm.
them was a mug. I just told you about this, but it was a mug that she bought before they knew they were moving into the area.
Hmm.
And it was one of those that talks about no matter how far apart, sisters are always close at heart, and it was personalized and had our names on it and
Yeah.
everything. She was like, I'm going to give it to you anyway, but we're no longer
Yeah.
far apart. So,
Well, define
but
far. I mean, if you had to walk, it would be far.
well, there you go. It
Hmm.
feels far
Yeah.
sometimes.
Okay.
Um, and she does the glass works.
Hmm.
So this is what she gave me yesterday.
Oh, wow. Because you love
And
elephants.
oh my goodness. And for those of
And
you
that's
who
Africa,
it's
right?
Tanzania,
Okay.
specifically Tanzania. Yeah. And so
Wow.
for those of you who aren't watching, the outline is Tanzania, and in the center is a beautiful African elephant, and in the center of the elephant is some Tanzanite.
Mm.
So it is a gorgeous piece. She gave me a little holder, to put it up on, prop it up on, but I love it so much.
Yeah, that's sweet. Very thoughtful. She knows what
Yeah,
you love.
she does. And she's so talented. She just keeps getting better and better.
We need to figure out how to have a guest, and she is the guest, and she's giving us lessons in some kind of craft. Probably couldn't do
Well,
stained glass, but something.
well, you know, this is what we did together last time, and mine were the little tiny mushroom and the little snail that I
Hmm.
made, you know, and now I know that was hard. It was so
Hmm.
hard. And it took a long time just to do those tiny little pieces. And so now I know how much talent, how much time and effort it takes to
Hmm.
put one of those things together. You know, I'm just amazed by it.
Yeah,
Anyway, I always have a good time when I get to hang out with her. I feel very
I know you
blessed
do. Yeah,
to
that's
have her
great.
for myself. I love you, Christy. She always listens.
Hmm. She's big, your biggest fan. Speaking of dogs, there's a nurse at Hill Country Care where my mom lives now, and she has two. They're not labradoodles. They are another kind of doodle. I can't remember which kind. One of them's
Golden.
maybe it is. Maybe no, they are labradoodles.
Okay.
But one of them's black and one of them's tan. But she has them. I thought it was like spray painted
Hmm.
because she's got one
What? What are
face.
you saying?
She has one that she has somehow it looks like a giraffe. It's the tan dog. And he's tall, he's big, he's the size of my grand dogs, Jake and Liz's dogs. But she's got spots on him and I haven't seen that one. A friend of mine sent me a picture of that one. So I thought it was like spray painted. But
Uh-huh.
then I was there a couple nights ago and she had her other dog named Delta, and it's the black doodle, and he has stripes like a zebra. And I was thinking, your face is cracking me up. I thought it was like spray painted, but when I rubbed the dog's back, it feels like his hair, like doesn't feel spray painted. So I'm so curious now. Did she
Wait a
dye?
second. You're bringing
I
this up and you're going to leave us hanging.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
waiting for but this is actually what she did.
I'm gonna have to find out. And it was one of
Oh,
those things last night. I was like
interesting.
rubbing the dog's back, and my mind is going, why doesn't this feel, the hair all feels the same, even though I was expecting, the one stripe to feel like spray painted. And
Hmm.
so, my
How
brain didn't go to
curious.
as far as saying, hey, did you spray paint this dog? Or well, how'd you color this dog? They're service dogs. So, but they're
Mhm.
not, like they don't alert, but they come and go with her to Hill Country Care. And the older people, they love dogs. And so they
Mhm.
go in and out of the rooms, the ones that want to see them anyway, and provide some humor as well with their
Yeah,
resemblance to a
that's
giraffe and a
cute.
zebra,
Yeah.
but they're sweet,
I've never seen that. Yeah.
Well,
Huh.
I'll send you a picture that I took. It's not a great picture because the dog was all moving and, not standing still, but I'm
Hmm.
really curious. Now I'm gonna have to go find her and just flat
Hmm.
out ask her, what did you do to these dogs?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, there's a lot of women that are gonna need to know what you did.
That's right. Oh, what else you got?
Um, that's kind of it. We
Okay.
heard from Lindy. I told you we heard from our
Yes.
agent, our friend
Hmm.
in Israel, and she's okay. And watching the news this morning, I don't think there may have been one fatality with all of the things that have happened over the last few days, but we also got a message from Inam Jadon, and it just breaks my heart because she just sounded scared, and I understand why. When you look at I sent you the video that Sandro sent us,
Hmm.
and I didn't feel like I could really post that. It just felt really
Yeah.
personal, but it was
Hmm.
just of all the over their head, all the rockets you could see.
It was
And
terrifying.
it is,
Hmm.
like you said, it looked like an alien invasion. So
Hmm.
our hearts and our prayers are with the people of Israel, and not just the people of Israel, but the world. It's a scary time. And
Hmm.
I just think about sometimes I wonder what would happen to all of the antiquities and the history of the Bible in the land there if it falls
Hmm.
into the wrong hands. And so that's just one of the things that I think about often when it comes
Hmm.
to the war that's going on over there, is to preserve those things that help. I know we walk by faith and not by sight, but we
Hmm.
also love to have that proof of the things that took place in the past. So
Hmm.
just ask everybody. I know everybody has been praying for the people of Israel, but please continue.
My mind goes the same direction. And you don't have to go to Israel to have faith or even have it confirmed, but it definitely is enriching
Mm-hmm.
and just opens your eyes and helps you see things. You can envision it in your mind when you read about it in the Bible.
Right.
And when they keep uncovering and discovering things that confirm what
Mm-hmm.
we've already read in the Bible that skeptics have disputed,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you say, it's more proof. It's just more proof.
Yeah. And you've seen the sites that are not um, under Jewish control, and they
Mm-hmm.
tend to be, if someone doesn't care anything about that history, they're not going to take
Mm-hmm.
care of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I guess I tend to be concerned about. Of course, the people, that's a given, but
Mm-hmm.
those things that are, if they fell into hands of people who just don't care anything about it, or worse, want to deny it or
Mm-hmm. Destructive.
dispute it or
Mm-hmm.
destroy it, then that would be awful too. So anyway,
Yeah. More to
yeah,
pray about.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
All right. Well, from that, we are going to share our favorite crock pot meals for fall. And you brought up an interesting thought as we were chit chatting about this. And why don't you share what you shared with me? Because I like how you put it.
You talking about that you're a crock
Our
pot?
personalities. Yeah.
Well,
Excuse
we
me.
were just discussing how and you're the one that said this, you are slow and deliberate, and
Mm-hmm.
you love things that you use your crock pot a lot more than I do,
Mm-hmm.
because you think ahead and you like things that cook long and slow. And you said that think cooking things on the stove make you nervous because you have to have things all ready at once. And then I was thinking, well, that's pretty much how I do things. I am not slow and deliberate. I fly by the seat of my pants in a lot of ways, and I'm not prepared. I mean, you're so much better at that than I am. I tend to, oh, what do I have in the freezer? Or, I just don't, I'm not very good at keeping things planned ahead, and you are. So I was just thinking that you are a crock pot and I am a stovetop. So,
Well, and I like stovetop if it's something in the Dutch oven that
mhm,
just simmers for a while.
yeah.
It's that whole, we used to get, is it Hello Fresh?
Hmm.
And the food was always amazing, but it was all
A lot of
cook on
work.
the stove really fast. Everything
Yeah.
happens at the same time, and it
Shopping.
just feels too frenetic to me and kind of stresses me out, and I
Mhm.
don't enjoy it. And I just like things that I can chop and take my time and, maybe fancy or something and then stick it in a Dutch oven to bake in the oven for 3 hours on low and slow, or definitely in the crock pot is my jam. So,
Mhm. I'm
but
always so proud of myself when I put something in the oven, because it means that I
mm,
have planned ahead.
yeah,
It means that we have supper taken care of.
it
I'm
just
just
feels
kind of
good
proud of
to
myself.
know you could be going about your day and doing some things and knowing that it's over
Hmm.
there taking care of itself. And
Hmm. Have
so
you ever
we
put
thought,
anything in there and forgot to turn the oven on?
one time, not the oven, but one time I did with the crock pot. It was
Oh,
supposed to be ready by the time we got home from church, and I never turned it on. So we ended up going out to eat.
yeah. Because what do you do with it then? Because if it's been sitting there for hours and
uh,
you can't eat it,
and it's meat. Yes.
feel
Yeah.
horrible throwing
So,
it away. And it would
yes.
probably be fine, but you don't know, and it's not worth risking it.
And it's usually, if it's meat in the crock pot, I mean, sometimes it's cheaper meat, but think about a big roast
Hmm.
or a big turkey breast or,
Hmm. Or chicken
yeah,
breasts. Hmm.
yeah a big pork roast, just regret there.
Yeah.
But And we tried to pull out some ones that might be a little bit different, but definitely would suit the season. So we are not going to cook these in front of you or anything. We're just going to talk about them because this is a podcast, but we're going to share our favorites. Some of these would be great for company. Some of these would be great for having ready for when you get home from worship, which is probably my favorite. I'm always looking for more Sunday
Hmm.
meals that you can stick in and they're ready as soon as you get home. Um, so do you want to go first?
I can.
Okay.
I have one that is a half-baked harvest recipe that she gives instructions that you can make on the stovetop, you can make it in the crock pot, or we could also call this episode Instant Pocktober. but you said that sounded like a disease, so it doesn't have quite the same ring as Crocktober. But it's called Cozy Wild Rice and Orzo Chicken Soup. And,
Mm,
all of those things, cozy, wild rice, orzo. I mean, it has rice and pasta in it. So, hello,
yum.
chicken soup. So, I made it in the instant pot, but you can do it in the crock pot. But it's got chicken breasts, and she said you can use thighs, but it has lots of vegetables and flavors and things in it. So, it's got
Mm,
onion, garlic, wild rice, carrots chopped, celery chopped, poultry seasoning, paprika, salt and pepper, chicken broth, baby spinach, orzo pasta, parsley, milk, salted butter, sage, and parmesan.
mm.
And with what I remember about this is that and I've got the recipe. Of course, I'll share it next week. But going by memory, putting the things in the crock pot or the instant pot, the chicken. Well, hello there, Ollie.
I
I
just,
just saw this big black thing crawl up next to
oh,
you.
there we go. Say
It's
hi.
Ollie. Hi, Ollie. He's licking his chops, thinking about
Think about
cozy
food.
wild rice and orzo.
Yeah.
But so you put the chicken, you saute the chicken, and you put all those vegetables and things in on top, but you chop the tops off the garlic and then just set them in there. You have a whole several cloves of garlic.
Oh.
You don't chop up the garlic, you just leave them in there.
Mm,
And then whether you have it in the instant pot or the crock pot, you let all those things simmer and cook and stuff. But at the end, before you serve it, you take out the whole garlic and you brown some butter,
mhm,
and you
mm,
put this, you break, squeeze the garlic out of the skin into
mhm.
the brown butter, and you put sage in there, and you make this brown butter garlic yumminess
That
that
sounds amazing.
so then you have this, I remember it came out more of a like a casserole than a soup, because I think of soup as being liquidy, and I guess you could
Mhm.
probably add more chicken broth if you wanted it to be soupy. But you put it in your bowl and then you spoon that butter over the top of it.
Oh,
And she always says, take time to make the sauces, take time to make the butters, take time to do this, because, and it did, it just set it off. It was so good. But, it's got the rice and the pasta, and I had never cooked with orzo before. Have you?
no.
It looks like rice, but it's pasta. It's like
Yeah. I've
shortcut
seen a lot of
pasta.
really good recipes involving it, but I've never tried it.
Hmm. So I'm looking at the differences between, of course, the instant pot is faster.
Mhm.
And so it probably would be better in the crock pot because you tend to get more flavor the longer you let something
Mm.
sit and simmer. But I haven't tried it in the crock pot yet. I may have to put this aside and do this next week. Well, maybe I'll
Oh,
wait for the first
yes.
below 70-degree day, which around here is practically winter. But that was
Well,
one of my favorites.
that's probably one of the reasons I love this time of year is because I love a good soup. I could
Hmm.
eat soup every day. There's so many different varieties. Neil, not so much. I mean, he likes soup, but he doesn't
Yeah.
get excited about it like I do. And
Hmm.
a good soup, a good sandwich. I
Hmm.
mean, what more do you need in life? But the challenge with the crock pot meal is, do you see him shaking, by the
Yeah.
way? Ollie's
Is something going
shaking.
on?
Probably. I have these
Weather?
headphones on, but no, it's still sunny out there. But if somebody shot a
Oh.
firearm or something,
Hmm.
every now and then we hear a hunter or something, or
Yeah.
usually it's thunder or somebody fired something and he starts doing this shaky
Hmm.
thing and wants to be in my lap. So that's what's going
Poor
on.
baby.
But with the crock pot, the only challenge is developing that flavor that you don't necessarily get when you just throw things in the crock pot. So
Hmm.
sauteing your vegetables in olive oil first or browning the meat first and then putting it in the crock pot
Hmm.
solves that problem,
Well, that's one of
makes,
the things I like about about the Instant Pot, though, is it has a saute function. So you can do
yeah.
that in the pot
Mhm.
and then turn it down to the slow cooker,
Yeah.
because a
Yeah.
lot of them have the slow cooker function. Cannot talk today. They have a slow cooker function.
That's
What do
right.
you serve with a soup? Like, is that
Bread?
your meal besides bread?
Yes, that's the meal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Sometimes I think people feel like you have to have vegetables or a salad or whatever. And I think, well,
Mm-hmm.
usually you have all the greens in your soup. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll do bread or
Mm-hmm.
cornbread and soup.
Now, if I was doing that for guests, you know, I would probably beef it out with something else
Mm,
and have some extra things with it. But just when it's just Neil and me, bowl of soup, a good chunk of bread,
yeah,
good to
crusty
go.
bread.
Good to go. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, Christy's recipe that I mentioned that she made, I asked her if it could be made in the slow cooker, and she said yes. So I'll have her, she sent it to me, but we'll get her to share that along with that focaccia
Yeah,
recipe and because it's a beautiful soup. It was so
because I
good.
need my arms to get goosebumps with some food too. So,
Yeah, the focaccia will do for sure. All
hmm
right, the first one I'm going to share is one I just tried recently, and it's a little bit different, but Neil and I both loved it, and it was even better left over. So it's called lemony lentil soup,
hmm
and it's made with red lentils, which cook a little bit quicker than the other ones. And it is you saute onions and carrots and garlic and olive oil. And then, so in your crock pot, you put that in your chicken stock or vegetable stock, whichever one you want to use, the red lentils, um, corn. So we had frozen corn put up. So I just put some of that in there. And then the spices, it is what makes it. So it has cumin, curry, saffron, and a little cayenne.
colorful.
Yeah. And so anyway, it doesn't take very long on this. You can do it in a Dutch oven, but you could also do it in a crock pot. And this would be because it cooks so quickly, ready in time when you got home from worship, if you wanted to do it that way. And then when you serve it, and you mentioned that take the time to make the sauces or the butters or
Hmm
whatever. I think that's one of the best parts about making soup are the finishers.
hmm
Whatever you do, drizzle it with fresh olive oil or a squeeze of lemon or well, this one suggests serving it with you add the zest and juice of a lemon, sea salt, and freshly cracked black pepper. And it's amazing. It smells good. It tastes good. It's nourishing. I think you feel good because it tastes good, but you feel good also because it's so good for you.
hmm
So
There's no meat in it.
there is no meat in it. No.
Do you
I
think that
used
this is,
homemade chicken stock, so there's that. But you
yeah,
can make it vegetarian with using vegetable stock.
do you think this is what Esau sold his birthright for?
There you go. Red lentil stew.
It's red lentil soup.
Yeah, it's
Because wasn't it
delicious.
a red pottage? And
Yeah,
what I remember was it was lentils.
you're right.
You may have gotten that recipe
And
from
I always wondered why,
Jacob
but now
himself.
I know. Yeah,
That sounds good. Lemon. I know we've said this before. Lemon makes everything good.
I love
Maybe
it.
not chocolate.
Yes.
I don't know. There may be something
I
lemony chocolate
mean,
that's
you
good.
can combine chocolate with orange. So
Yeah. Has anybody tried lemon on chocolate?
let us know.
I saw a meme one time that said, let's see if I can say it right. Have we experimented with other vegetables to see if exploding them makes them better, or did we just stop with corn?
Yeah, that's cute.
Okay, this net mine. Are you ready for me to go on to
Yeah,
the
go
next
ahead.
one?
Mhm.
This is kind of a tried and true that we have used, and I know you have too, for youth devotionals and things like that. But it's just something you can throw it together. Usually I have everything on hand for this, but we call it mush, which sounds really great, doesn't it? We're
Okay.
gonna have mush for supper. But all you do, you put chicken breasts, or you can do whatever, chicken thighs if you prefer that. We just like chicken breast in the bottom of your crock pot. Sprinkle them with some salt, a packet. I'll usually do like 3 or 4 chicken breasts, just cover the bottom. Sprinkle
Mhm.
it with one package of taco seasoning mix, and then cover it with some salsa. And I like Julio's, and I don't know if you can get Julio's anywhere besides down here. I'm not sure if that's a national brand or just Texas. But cover it with that salsa, and then that's all you do. You turn it on low for like 5 or 6 hours, or high. I don't ever do high. It just seems like when you do that, things get crispy or tough, or you run out of liquid or something. So I just always do low and slow. But then, so when the chicken's done, you shred it. So there's the chicken shredder again, the cooked chicken
Yeah.
shredder.
And we've had a demo of that.
Yes. Although probably for the, I think it would work either way, but probably for this, depending on if you wanted it to be bigger chunks, because that shredder shreds it pretty fine. But you could do it with 2 forks or use the shredder. And if you want, that's all you have to do. I mean, it's done. You can just put that in a tortilla or you can just eat it in a bowl or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're having a bunch of people over, which is what we usually tend to do it with, you can add a lot of different things, but you can add beans, like canned pinto beans or black beans or
Mm-hmm.
any kind of beans. You can add rice that's already cooked.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they make it so easy. You can get those packets of rice or frozen rice. We have frozen rice. I wonder if that cauliflower rice would work or if that would just ruin it.
That'd probably work. You can put your same seasonings in there.
I don't know. I think I would feel betrayed if somebody did that and didn't tell me it was cauliflower. I don't know. But beans and rice and cheese, and those are the things that we add and then let it cook some more. But you could also add like a brick of cream cheese.
Mm,
You could put
yummy.
cilantro. You could put, I mean, there's any number of things. You might could put a can of Rotel if you like it to be a little bit spicier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think probably what I would rather do instead of putting that Rotel or the cilantro is make like a bar and have the mush. Really need to find a different name for that. But have that together and then you have more toppings. Let people put what they want in it rather than doing it yourself. Have you ever put anything else in yours?
I don't think so.
Yeah. But you just put it in a tortilla or however you want to do it. But if you do tortillas, then you kind of have a serving control.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make it stretch a little more than so if you have 15 teenage boys, you can make it last a little bit or go a little bit further if you put it in a tortilla rather than just giving them a plate and letting them load their plate. But that's just something that's like I don't even know if it's a recipe. I guess it is if you put the
Mm-hmm.
ingredients together, but we use that a lot. And we tend to, if we're just doing it for John and me, don't add the beans and rice and stuff. We just have the
Mm-hmm.
chicken and it's really yummy.
That sounds good. Just put it in a bowl with all the good toppings and
Hmm.
mm.
Avocado would probably be good with
Oh
that.
yeah. Shredded lettuce, sour
Lime.
cream, lime. Yeah.
Yeah, sour cream.
Mm.
Um, what is the crema stuff? Lime crema.
Chipotle.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, you
That
could do
sounds
any
good.
number of things. That's
All right,
mine.
good one. All right, so my next one comes from Andrea Warnes.
Mm,
And several years ago, we went to the lectureship at Corsicana,
hmm.
and they had a bunch of people over, and she had 3 different types of soups and crock pots. And this was one of them. It's called sausage and sweet potato soup.
Mm,
And I think she said she got it originally from Laura.
okay.
So, but the ingredients are a little unusual. And if I hadn't have tried it first and then asked for the recipe, I
You
probably
might
wouldn't
not
have
try it.
made it.
Uh-huh.
Because just looking at the ingredients, I kind of go, oh, really?
Mm,
But it's sweet potatoes, kielbasa, half an onion, 2 cans of hominy. So that's kind of what makes it different. A can of
hmm.
Rotel, some chicken broth, and then the spices are cumin and oregano. And you cook all of that together, and it just it's like a really savory, brothy kind of thing. But you have that bite that you cube the sweet potatoes. You have that bite of sweet potato every now and then that kind of balances it out, with a little bit
Hmm.
of sweetness. But you top it with sour cream and shredded cheese, which also I thought was odd. When we first tried it, she said it's sausage and sweet potato soup. And she was like, she had sour cream and shredded cheese out because she also made like a traditional potato soup.
Hmm.
And she had it for that. And she was like, put the sour cream and shredded cheese on this soup. And I'm going, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I did, and it was amazing.
Hmm.
And so I've made this several times now for us because it is so good. But it's just one of those things again where you saute the sausage and onion together and then you put everything in the crock pot and just let it simmer for 4 to 6 hours on high or 6 to 8 on low. And
Did
it's
you say what kind of
delicious.
sausage?
Yeah,
Like breakfast
kielbasa.
sauce? Oh, kielbasa. So
Kielbasa,
it's
all
chunks.
beef. She says all beef kielbasa sausage.
Okay.
You just slice it.
Hmm.
So cubed sweet potatoes, sliced kielbasa, and then the hominy, rotel, onions, spices,
Mm.
broth. It's delicious.
I'm not a big sweet potato fan. I
It's
want
very good.
to.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why. It's one
It's
of
the
those things.
color of fall.
It is. Well, so is pumpkin.
There you go.
You could probably put pumpkin in that soup too.
Hmm.
Well, good. Are you ready for my next one?
Yes.
This is one that I have not made. But interestingly enough, Alyssa sent this to me 2 nights ago. So when you told me yesterday, Crocktober, I thought I'm going to share that one because she texted me the recipe and she just said, I'll let you know how it goes. But,
Hmm.
she knows that I like getting recipes. And then later that night, I need to pull up that text and read exactly what she said. Um, okay, she said, this is what she sent, the recipe. And then she said, with some corn on the cob and roadhouse rolls, I'll let you know. And then 2 hours later, 2 thumbs up to the recipe. Jake said he wouldn't mind, he wouldn't even waste time smoking ribs with how these tasted. So it's a rib recipe.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's saying that he liked it better than smoked ribs, which is saying a lot because smoked pork ribs are pretty amazing.
Hmm.
But the recipe, the title of it is just slow cooker ribs. And it has 4 pounds of pork baby back ribs, tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and homemade barbecue sauce or store-bought. And so it just says to remove the membrane, pat them dry, put the rub together with the brown sugar, paprika, garlic and onion, salt, pepper, and cut the ribs in half, pour the sauce on top. I mean, this is a simple recipe, but it says to cook them on low for 6 or 7 hours or high for 3 to 4 hours. And she said they were delicious. I mean, that's just basically it. Baby back ribs in the crock pot. And I am definitely going to try that. I
Yeah,
texted her
me
back,
too, because Neil loves
run into
that.
the store. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, and I maybe when we share this next week, I'll share the recipe that I have for City Market barbecue sauce
Hmm.
because there's a lot of barbecue sauces that I do like. Salt Lick is my favorite. That's a barbecue place here in the Austin area, but there's anchovies in their barbecue sauce. That's one of those things that
Interesting.
if I had heard that before I tried it, I probably wouldn't have tried it because that gives me the
Hmm.
willies.
Hmm.
But it's my favorite barbecue sauce. I could
Hmm.
probably, I mean, they put it on everything. When you go there, you get it on your potato salad, you put it on your beans, you put it on all the meat. But anyway, the recipe that I have is for a different barbecue restaurant, City Market, Luling City Market,
Hmm.
and it's a vinegary mustardy sauce that I like. So maybe I'll share that. And that's probably what I would put in there with those slow cooker ribs. It's a really simple recipe. I thought, well, I'll try it. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, Neil's definitely going to want me to try that one.
Yeah.
That's probably his favorite. That's his birthday meal. He loves
Ribs.
ribs.
Smoked usually or how?
Hmm. Well, if I'm doing it, I cook them low and slow in the oven and then baste them with barbecue sauce and throw them on the grill
Okay.
just to kind of get that,
Smoke.
grilly, smoky taste
Hmm.
to it. But he has smoked them in the smoker before. I don't know how to do the smoker, so I
Yeah,
don't
I
do
don't either.
that. Okay, that's a good one. Um, so I'm gonna go a little bit different direction here, and this one is cranberry cider.
Okay.
So it's so
Christmas.
so so easy, but it's a beautiful color, especially for fall. But if you're having people over for ladies' Bible class or just a group over or your family over or whatever, but it's really easy. You just put 8 cups of cranberry juice, 4 cups of apple juice, a fourth cup of brown sugar, and then 3 cinnamon sticks in a slow cooker.
Hmm.
And all you gotta do is simmer that up together, and it tastes really good, and it's pretty too.
Serve it warm, I guess.
Hmm.
And it makes your house smell good, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. Just serve it in a mug, and always goes over really well. It's really
Cool.
easy. Hmm.
That sounds good.
Hmm.
Sounds like holidays in a cup.
Yes, just a little bit different twist on the spice cider offering. So, what you got?
Okay. I have one for it's my mom's vegetable soup and it's
Mm.
got meat in it. So I guess we should call it beef vegetable soup, but the recipe just calls it vegetable soup. But this is one that my boys they all love it. And it's interesting, at least 2 of them when they were in college, I remember distinctly getting a picture from them as they were making their own vegetable soup.
Oh.
Yeah, so I knew that they liked it, and
Mm.
I think Micah has said before, this is the smell of fall to him. But it's just that it calls for stew meat, but I like to just get a big sirloin steak and cut it up because then you can kind of control. I don't like a lot of fat in stew meat. I don't like to bite into a piece of stew meat and go, "Arr, arr, arr." Don't like that. So you can cut the fat off of the sirloin. And so it's got, I didn't bring the recipe in here because I know it, but it's got sirloin steak, it's got potatoes, and then depending on the kind of potatoes you buy, some of them, if you use russet potatoes, they don't cook very well in a soup. And I don't know why. You
Yeah,
probably know the
waxier
science of it.
potato.
Yeah, they tend to stay crunchy, sort of, and don't feel like they've cooked. So I like to use yellow or gold or red potatoes in the vegetable soup. Celery, carrots, a whole can of whole tomatoes, beef broth, onion. I like to just quarter the onion, and that's all. I'll just kind of like peel it back and put the big chunks of onion in there. I usually put like 5 or 6 garlic cloves in there, crushed. Because I like it to be really garlicky. I usually put some more tomato sauce in there. Sometimes I put corn in it, but not everybody loves that, so often I don't. And it's best if you brown the meat first, like toss it in a little bit of flour and salt, and with bacon grease, put that at the bottom of your Dutch oven and brown the meat first. You don't have to, but it just kind of gives it some added flavor. And so once you brown the meat, you can leave it in there and then just add all the rest of the things in there. The tomatoes I crush. And sometimes I'll get my little food processor out and blend them so they're pretty, don't have too many chunks. But sometimes I just put 2 knives down in there and just kind of cut them up into bigger chunks. But you just set it on the stove and let it cook. But you can also, I've done it in the Instant Pot a lot faster, in like 25 minutes as opposed to 3 or 4 hours. And you can do it in the crock pot. But if you do it in the crock pot, if you're going to saute the meat, you have to use 2 different pots. So anyway, that's just a tried and true. My mom's been making it for years and years. She always puts a bay leaf in there. And I don't guess I really notice the difference that the bay leaf makes, but I'm sure that's some kind of subtle flavor in there. So if I have it, I'll put it in there. If not, I don't.
What do you
Salt and
serve it with?
pepper, cornbread.
Cornbread.
Always
sounds
cornbread.
good.
Because then sometimes you just cut it in half and lay it flat and then put your stew on top of it and eat it like that. It
That
is
sounds
good.
so good.
That is definitely the first cold front we have. That's the first thing I pull out.
I'm definitely trying that one. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm always looking for a really good vegetable soup recipe.
Good. It's pretty basic and there's nothing surprising in it, but we like it.
Sounds perfect. All right, my next one is from 2015, Sean Hockdorf. You know him. He stayed with us for a few days. It says it was September 21st, so it must have been for the lectureship.
Lectures, yeah.
Yeah, at Bear Valley. But one night he offered to cook, and he made this white bean chili that was to die for. So I have it, and I call it Sean's white bean chili. But it's he sauteed onions and green chilies in butter, and then put it in the crock pot with chicken stock, navy beans, cilantro, and the spices are like hefty. So all these spices call for a whole tablespoon.
Oh.
So cumin, white pepper, black pepper, crushed red pepper. Oh, that's 1 teaspoon on the crushed red pepper.
Oregano. Yeah, that could be a little hot.
Yeah, oregano, a whole tablespoon. And then you add a whole jar of salsa verde. And then you brown some beer brats and slice them up and add them to the crock pot. And then you cook it all up for 3 hours. It was so good. And it did have a little heat to it, but it was delicious. And then he served it with, what do you call the big, long, skinny French bread?
A baguette.
A baguette, thank you. He sliced that up. He mixed real butter with crushed red pepper and spread it on there. And then put some, you know how you can get those containers that have Parmesan shavings? Like they look more like big flakes?
Yeah.
Sprinkle some of those on there and then put it under the broiler.
Wow.
And that's what he served with that white bean chili. And it was delicious. It was
I didn't know he was a cook.
Meal, so
that's definitely one I'll try. I love bean soup.
It is very, very good.
Yep. I had a recipe one time from Julie Orr called Wicked White Chicken Chili. And it had, I want to say navy beans or just white beans, that part of it, instead of chicken broth, you blend them. So it calls for like 3 cans of beans, and one of the cans you blend, and that kind of makes the broth, and it gives it more of a thicker base. But I love that white chicken chili. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I have one more,
Okay.
and it's another one that I have not tried. You
And
have
it's
more.
probably good.
It's gotta be good because it's slow cooker French onion
Uh,
soup. This is one that I've had that I printed out a long time ago. And I guess, I had ordered that French onion soup last year when we did that Mediterranean cruise. I ordered it just about every night.
mhm,
And it had such rich beef broth in it.
mhm.
And I think that's what I loved the most about it. It's probably making me swell up with all the salt content that I was taking in. But oh, it was so good. But it's just this has butter, sliced yellow onions, 4 of them. So 4 onions, a little bit of white sugar, 2 cloves of garlic, uh, low sodium beef broth, some salt, some thyme, a bay leaf, a French bread, 8 slices of French bread. But then it has all these cheeses, 4 different kinds: the Gruyere cheese, Emmental, Parmesan, and mozzarella.
Was the second one?
Emmental,
What's that?
I mean, it's just a white cheese. I've seen it, but I don't know that I've ever bought it before. So you just put all those first ingredients, the spices and the onions and the beef broth and things like that, in the crock pot. But when you get ready to serve it, that's when the magic happens. That's when you toast the bread, and you have your bowl of the onion soup, but you put the bread and you put all those cheeses on top and put it under the broiler.
Yeah.
And I'm not even that big of a fan of onions. I like them
Mhm.
cooked into things, but to eat them by themselves. So typically I'll just kind of spoon the broth out, and I like the onions cooked down like that. But this is going on. I'm going to make this happen this year.
I like the idea of the crock pot because normally you would have to caramelize those onions, and that takes a
Hmm.
good while
So you're kind of
on the
caramelizing
stove.
them
Yeah.
in the crock pot. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to try that one and see if it's actually good.
Yeah. When you brought this up, I was like, remember, you're the crock pot and I'm the stovetop.
That's right. All right. Well, I have a couple more. I'll just go through both of them really quickly. The first one is Weight Watchers friendly. And actually, that very first one I shared, that lemony lentil soup, which is a beautiful color. I forgot to mention with the red and the saffron, but
Yeah.
it's Weight Watchers friendly and it tastes good. This one is called chicken butternut squash stew, and it was one that I had tried. It is really low points on Weight Watchers, but it's perfect for Sunday. Start it. It's ready when you get home from church. But it's olive oil, onion, chicken breast, butternut squash, which you can totally cheat and buy them pre-cubed in your freezer section of the grocery store,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is what I did that time.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken broth, carrots, garlic powder, sea salt, fresh sage, and black pepper. And it wasn't creamy, it wasn't cheesy, but it was very light,
Mm-hmm.
more of a clear, brothy kind of soup, but it was so good. The chicken and the butternut squash made it feel more hearty, and it had lots of good flavor. So we decided that was a keeper and we would make it again. And then the last one is an instant pot one, and it's pork chili verde. And it's pork shoulder, salt and pepper, olive oil, onion, and this one has tomatillas in it, which I don't cook with very often. I've tried this recipe one time when the kids were coming over, and I really liked how it turned out. But
I've never used a
tomatillas,
tomatillo.
diced green chilies, cilantro, garlic, 4 garlic cloves, jalapenos, oregano, cumin, chicken stock, white beans, and then once it's all done, you top it with more fresh cilantro, corn chips, and cojita cheese. Coti.
Yeah.
How do you say that word? Which I don't even
Tortilla.
think I got
Say
that
it
from the
fast.
cheese. Yeah.
Tortilla.
Tortilla. I think I just topped it with pepper jack or something like that. I can't remember.
So
And then we had like lime wedges and all that stuff out. So
yeah,
it was very good.
those tortilla soups were all the rage for a while, and they still are. I mean, you can get them down here in just about any Mexican restaurant, and that lime just sets those off, and
Yeah.
any kind of cheese is good on it. What are some things that you keep on hand? Because we were talking a little bit beforehand. I tend to do like pinto beans in the Instant Pot more than anything, and I just keep beans and a ham in either my fridge or freezer. But that's about all I can be counted on to be thinking ahead, but I think you do better with that. What do you keep on hand?
Well, I definitely keep beans, pastas, grains, rice, spices, um, chicken broth. So anytime we roast chicken or even buy a rotisserie chicken, I always make broth in the crock pot with the carcass and I'll
Okay,
throw
how
in
do you do
some.
that?
Okay, so you can even save if you're making carrots and you're peeling your carrots, put your carrot scraps, onion scraps, veggie scraps, whatever in a Ziploc bag in the freezer until you just collect enough. And next time you roast a chicken or use a rotisserie chicken, put the carcass in the crock pot with whatever veggie scraps you want or none at all. Um, Black peppercorns. I usually throw in some bay leaves, a splash of apple cider vinegar, which is
Oh,
going to help draw what you need out of the bones, to make it more gelatinous.
mm,
And then I just let it go for at least 24 hours and sometimes longer. And when I made this red lentil stew, I happened to have some almost ready, and I was just ladling my chicken broth right out of that. and,
hmm.
and then I topped it back off with some more filtered water and stuff like that. And I just let it keep going again. So, but I like to keep frozen chicken stock because soups or sauces
Mhm.
or stuffing, whatever you need it for, it's always ready to go. So.
I'm sure that's better than the boxed or canned stuff that you get.
I just feel like it has a lot more flavor.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I didn't know you could do that with rotisserie chicken. We use those all the time, so
Yeah,
we'll try that.
yeah. Just throw that, and then when it's done, and I drain it all off, everything that I've drained out, I carry out to the chickens, and
Hmm.
they love it. They just go to town on that
Do you
stuff.
strain
But
it, I guess,
hmm
with cheesecloth or something like that?
I just use I have a fine mesh stainless steel strainer. I just use that.
Yeah.
But freeze it, and I also keep boxed chicken stock. I have that in my pantry because Sam's has the organic chicken
Hmm.
stock, and that's handy,
Yeah.
So I have that in my pantry too. But
Well, a lot of times I keep the bouillon, but not the cubes, the powder. I
mhm,
keep that and I'll just add that to soups usually, and that gives it a little bit more flavor and
mhm.
it's easy. And that's apparently what I'm all about is easy
Easy and delicious.
and stovetop.
That's right. You can have the stovetop. I'll keep the crock pot.
Okay. Sounds
All
good to
right.
me.
So, do you have something good for us?
Oh man, I forgot. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right because I do.
Okay,
I
good.
do. And it's really just it's a YouTube channel, and I've mentioned it on here before, but it's Acre Homestead.
Hmm.
And let me tell you why I love it. She has a couple episodes on her favorite crockpot recipes, and I watched them and I want to try all of them. They look so good. And I also appreciate how, I mean, you can actually watch her making them though, but I also appreciate how she'll say, I liked this about it. If I was making it again, I might tweak this or do this differently. So, that's good to know
Hmm.
too. But in addition to that, she does a lot of cooking on there, but she also does a lot of instructing sort of naturally. Like you don't really realize it, but I've learned a lot from her. She's younger than me. I feel like I've been cooking for a long time. And I feel like every time I watch one of her videos, I learned. I usually have it like if I'm cooking in the kitchen, I'll pull up one of hers just to have in the background.
Hmm.
And I also love her because she reminds me a little bit of my sister, just in her coloring. She has dark hair, really dark brown eyes, and so
Hmm.
does my sister.
Hmm.
But so Acre Homestead for
What's her
more
name?
Becky something,
Okay.
forgot, but
Oh,
for more good crockpot recipes.
good.
And we'll share all these recipes in the following week.
Hmm.
So check out the Facebook page, Looking Up with Kathy and Carla. We'd love to hear your favorite crockpot recipes. Always looking for more ideas.
Hmm.
And if you've lasted this far, thank you for listening. And do us a favor. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you could click like, if you could subscribe, if you're listening to your favorite podcast platform, if you could follow or subscribe. And again, for those of you who are new here, we do not monetize anything and we have no interest in doing that. But what that does do is make it more visible. And we do want more women to join our community and listen in and Lord willing be encouraged.
Yeah,
So thank you for joining, Carla. This was fun. Can't
it
wait to try
was.
all your recipes.
Yeah, we're gonna share, and I'm gonna try yours.
And until next time,
Keep looking up.
all right, love you,
Keep
friends.
cooking up.
Keep cooking up. A storm.
There you go.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.